Hey, what's up, Forza fan? I'm Max. I'm with Race Sim 1, Toronto Sim Racing Center, and today I'm going over the new eSports update for Forza Motorsport 6. So I'm gonna go over the update process in order to make this more easy. I've accelerated the whole thing to 20 times. So when you open Forza Motorsport, it will tell you that the software needs an update. Then you download the update. It's 1.5 gigabytes. Depending on the speed of your connection, it might take a while. So as you can see, this is going quite fast. Now, once this is done, you will be, of course, loading Forza Motorsports. So three things changed here. The grid preview presentation, I'll go over that. The manual grid reordering using the right stick, I'll show you as well. And the viewing panels for when you're a viewer only or when you spectate a race. So all of this happens for private lobbies, so when you create a private lobby. So that's what I'm doing now in Forza. I'm going to go and press the Y button to create a private match, A for OK. Now the private match is loading. Here we have 5 stations all connected to Xbox Live. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going into the options and I'm going to show you which options change. So you have to use the right paddle shifter to go to the advanced rules, and you'll see something called grid preview. So that's new. You can put it off, auto, or manual. So I'll show you how that works. And also there's the grid ordering, which we'll go over in a moment. So the first thing I want to show you is really the grid preview. So the grid preview is something that will show you the cars on the grid in a nice cinematic fashion before the race starts. So it's nice, but for us here, it's just an extra layer that takes more time out of the race. So I don't think we're gonna use it, but it's pretty cool, especially if you have like a lot of people on the grid. So now the race is loading and you'll see what I mean. So now you see here, it's just the camera zooming into the first car, and if you're using the manual mode, then you pull the right paddle shifter or the right bumper, and then you go on the second car, and you can pull the left paddle shifter and go back to the first car, and so on. So imagine if there's 16 cars on the grid, that's going to take a while. If you do auto, the machine or the game will go one by one. So that's the first thing I wanted to go over. The next thing is the manual reordering of the grid. So normally you go by power index, and so the most powerful car is going to be in the back and the least powerful in the front. Now there's a new version, there's a new feature here in the grid ordering, which is manual. So when you do manual, if you're the game host, what you'll be able to do here, and I'm demonstrating this now, is you'll be able to switch the order of the drivers manually. So you see how here driver 4 is at the bottom and driver 6 is at the top. So now I'm moving with the right bump, with the right stick up and down, and basically that changes the order, and it does so during the countdown, before the countdown, during the countdown, and also after the countdown. I'll also show you what the racers see. So if you're not the game host, how it's going to appear. So you see here now at the top right, it says finalizing the grid. But if you're one of the racers and you're not the game host, that's not what you see. You see something different. And again, I left the grid preview on to auto, so that's why we see the introduction of the cars on the grid. So let's go back to the game lobby and see how that all comes together. So now we're looking at the driver or one of the guests into the host's game, and although the game host is changing the grid order, the people that are part of the race will only see the new grid order once the original countdown is off. And then when the game host makes changes to the grid, it shows up live as you saw just now. And now I see that driver 5 is in front of driver 6, which was the case before, so it's not the greatest example, but I think you get the idea. So that's the other thing. So the manual reordering of the grid as the countdown gets from 15 to 0, and also afterwards. Now I'm going to show you the spectate mode. So now I'm using driver 6 here, which is in spectate mode. And there's two new panels that you can show on the screen when you're spectating. One that will show the game information, mostly I would say it's the track map, and then another one that will show the car that you're actually following. So now I just have one car on the grid, but you'll get to see what I mean. So if you use the, I believe it's the Y button on your controller, if you press that, you will see the data show up. And so with that, you can go at the bottom, there's a new icon that I'm hovering over now. It looks like a little helmet. And if you go left or right, you can view different types of information. So you can see on the right side now, I pulled out the player information. And on the left side, I pulled up the race or game information. So you can have both on, or one or the other. So that's really what changed. So now, as I was filming this or capturing this, I went on the other seat, and now I'm driving that car. And so you see in the player information, you see the RPM, the speed, the brake pressure, and the accelerator pressure. So that's an extra layer of information that you can add when you're spectating. So really, that's pretty much what changed. The other thing I'm going to show you also the ticker at the top, so you can have a lot of different type of information, but I'm pretty sure this is the same as before. I don't think anything changed there, but I just wanted to show you. So you can have the time behind, the split times, you can have the distance between each player, the gaps, etc., etc. So you can either hide the ticker, which is hidden now at the top of the screen, or you can show it based on the information that you want to see. So that's pretty much it for the update. Nothing spectacular. I think the manual grid ordering is nice because I feel like in Forza it's never been quite easy to figure out how the grid is ordering, even if you're basing yourself on best lap time. So I think this is really the feature that we will use here the most. But aside from that, the preview is nice as well. It's just a little more time consuming. Thanks for watching, guys.